Hey, you guys, I thought I would go ahead and update you on my Slovember progress. And so this is the second video. If you haven't seen the first one, check that one out if you don't know what Slovember is. This one is just a progress update. So it's about 2 weeks in, and I've been busy like everybody probably has. But I wanted to kind of show you my plans for what I'm going to do, and we'll see if those things actually work out. So I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'll show you kind of the sketches that I'm doing. All right, so hopefully you guys see the my Photoshop screen. So I've been doing this series of dancers for a gallery show, and I just finished a book. Sorry, I have a cold if my voice sounds funny or whatever, funnier than normal. But I have this gallery show, and I'm doing the series of dancers and angels and all these like kind of simpler, very, very textured images. I just finished a book that had very, very detailed images. And while that's really fun to do, I kind of want to change direction, and I'm going to do a traditional painting for this one, not a digital painting. And so I wanted to play with texture and color more than detail. And so I always think it's important to understand what you're trying to do in a painting and what you're focusing on. I guess I should add, I typically like to divide my work into whether I'm working on technique or whether I'm working on content. And if you're trying to learn some new technique, like say you've never painted in oil before, I don't recommend doing subject matter you've never done before. For example, if you had a Civil War battle scene with 400 characters and you've never painted in oil before, those two together are not going to go that well. So if I'm doing something very conceptual, I like to do techniques that I know quite well. And if here, let me make my screen bigger. There we go. If I am doing something that is more technique-based, if I'm doing something that's technique-based, I'm going to keep it really simple. If I'm doing something content-based, I'm going to keep it very, very in my wheelhouse where I know what I'm doing and I'm comfortable doing that because I need to focus on the content a little bit more. And so that's just a little warning, I guess, or a little tip, however you guys want to take it. But anyway, so here you can see here's some reference that I had up, and I started off with this reference here and just some images a friend sent me and a Google image or whatever, and I just started out there. Again, knowing that this is basically a technical painting, not necessarily too much of a conceptual painting. And so you can see my really bad, rough sketches. They start out really being nothing. Originally, I was kind of going to do a dancer on top of a piano. I don't know why that image kind of came to me. And I still want to do some of that. But I just sketched this one really quickly, and I kind of liked it. It is a kind of a ballerina-esque girl holding a swan, and I really like that. Just simple graphic. Again, I want this one. And I'll show you guys the canvas I'm going to be painting on in just a second. But this is going to be very textural, and so I wanted it to be a very simple image and just simple kind of shapes and graphics. So then I did a couple of studies over here. These are just Photoshop paint studies, but I try to get them looking fairly close to how I want the actual painting to look, even though I haven't done too much detail. So I don't want to zoom in because they're really rough. But my actual painting is going to be really rough too, so it kind of matches. So I'm just testing different, very, very subtle color variations. And then I did this one. I was just actually moving my regular painting to another background and saw it on the white background, and I kind of liked that. So I just went ahead and did a painting today. This one, no, that's not it. That's the one I copied. So that was just a really, really rough sketch in Photoshop. And then this was the painting that I did today. And I really like this. I like this quite a bit. And so there's like some drips and stuff. There's pattern. There is texture. And so I really like the feel of this. So this will be how my painting feels for Slovember. This is not the one. I would consider this almost a study for it. I'm going to use this color balance somewhere between these two because I wanted to do the pink with a kind of a darker background. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off my share because I need to show you my actual canvas that I'm going to do. Stop share. Okay. It should just be my big head in there. This is going to be exciting for me. This is going to be oops, I dropped my frame. Hold on 1 second. See if I can kick it over to me. I'm tethered to my desk right now. All right. There we go. So this is an aluminum panel. And so one of the things I wanted to do is paint really big. And so you can see how big this thing is. This is 30 by 40. And this is called Aluma Panel. It is an aluminum panel. Let's see if I pull this back. You'll see it's a really pretty aluminum, and I'm going to paint on that using acrylic and oil. And so acrylic and oil sticks to this really well. What I love about this aluminum panel is it's 30 inches by 40 inches. Once you start getting that big with paintings, they start to get heavy, and I don't like that. So I'm trying to get around that because I do art shows and stuff like that. Here's how I'm going to frame it. This is just a corner sample, but this is a panel frame. And so this panel will sit right down in there like that and go all the way across it. Now this whole big thing is very, very rigid. This is basically a sign material, and it doesn't bend. It's very, very rigid. As you can tell if you're driving down the freeway, that's what these things are made out of. I don't like painting on canvas. It's too floppy, and I don't like painting on wood panels because they'll warp, and to get around the warping, you may have seen those cradled panels that are made by Ampersand. They have a big border around them made out of wood. Those things at this size are really, really heavy. So I'm kind of testing out how do I like painting on this surface. I've done a couple of tests on them and they work quite well. And then I'm also testing out this frame, which is going to arrive in the next couple of days. So that is my progress update. So I'm going to do this big old painting. It's going to be of that kind of ballerina girl holding the swan, and we will see how it goes. I'm going to film some of the painting next week, and I'll show you guys that as things develop. Hope all of your work is coming along, and you're making progress as well. It's a really fun process to slow down and really kind of think about what you're doing. But again, just take step by step, do the sketches, do the studies, and do the color studies. Don't forget those, and then value studies. And then the final painting is actually pretty easy. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks.